Kom here with the lovely
Bethany. Hi guys.
And today what we're going to talk about is a subject that some people are not comfortable with, and you should be, because it's going to happen to all of us, and if it doesn't happen to you, you died early. So,
or if you're
if you're a guy.
Yeah.
And listen, guys should be watching this too. I really hope
Totally
they are,
agree.
especially if you have someone in your life who's
Yes.
going to be going through menopause anytime soon. I talked to someone today who I have a lot of respect for, who has gone through menopause, and she went through it as gracefully as she possibly could, and she really powered through it. So some of the things that I talk about today came directly from her. Okay. Now listen, we could literally talk about this subject all day long for a month straight. What we're going to do is we're going to break it into 3 different vlogs. Okay. Today's vlog is going to be, vlog 1 is going to be on what to expect and some kind of high level things on how you can handle it and get through it, because it is a challenging time. The second vlog will be specific to exercise when it comes to the time when you're going through menopause. It does matter, and so we're going to get into the details of things that you should specifically be doing in regards to your physical activity. And the third is
nutrition.
Yep.
And how key it is in helping you get through that stage of life.
Yep, exactly. So the common one, this is, by the way, so you're going to get 10 tips on how to get through it, but we're going to get to that in just a minute. Why it happens, I think most people already know this. There are drops in estrogen produced by the ovaries, okay, and that causes a big imbalance in our bodies and something that we're not used to. So that's the general and why. You can read more up on the why. Things to expect, and these are things that you might not have heard about. Number 1, this is a common one. Hot flashes.
Hot flashes.
Yep, it's true. It's not a joke.
Yes.
They really, really happen. The person that I spoke with, let's call her Sally, because that's my favorite pseudonym. Let's call her Sally. She said it was a feeling that she'd never ever experienced before, and it was almost hard for her to describe. So
we kind of described it. We all kind of came to the conclusion that she felt like she was almost starting to cook from the inside, and it would start right around in here, and she could feel that temperature just going up, and then it would just radiate out of her body, and she just felt like I was internally cooking, almost about to like internally combust type of a feeling.
Yep. So guys,
sounds like fun.
Yeah. So that's a good way to describe it. Like when I was in labor, I used to be like, it feels like someone's stabbing me, like over and over. You know, for her, this is what she described that as, and they can just come out of nowhere. And in the evening, often, I think when you're sleeping.
I don't know if there is necessarily like a set time for them. I think they can just hit it at any moment.
Like morning sickness,
yes.
Right? Morning sickness can happen, whatever. One of the things that I didn't know about that she said to expect was heavy bleeding and inconsistency with your periods. And so, right?
She said she'd have like a month where she had a period, and then the following month she wouldn't have one, and then the next month she would have one, but it would almost be like a full-blown double whammy from not having one the month before.
Yeah,
so it would
super
be
heavy.
just super heavy to the point where we'll get graphic here, she'd wear a tampon and a pad and just be changing those all the time. So
always be prepared
not fun,
for that.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
Have extras.
Oh, speaking of that, a couple other things. This is what to expect. Expect it to generally hit sometime between the age of 48 to 55. That can vary depending on the part of the world that you're in. It can vary dependent on your lifestyle. It can vary dependent on a lot of things. One of the things that she said is an old wives' tale that we thought we'd share with you is that whatever it was with your mother, that's how it's going to be timing wise, and as far as what you're going through, just like your mom. That's totally not true. I mean, it's just the general guideline. It's going to be somewhere probably between 48 and 55, but I don't know about you, Bethany, but my lifestyle is nothing
Yours
like
is
my
opposite
mom's.
of your mom's.
Yeah,
and mine is similar to how my mom's was. She healthy, ate good. She was a teacher, so she would exercise mainly in the summertime.
Yeah.
So I think we're very opposite of that generation. We exercise daily. We eat good daily. It's a different focus. So I'm kind of interested to see how we actually go through it versus what our moms did, because I think it was just such a different generational outlook on health in general.
Yeah.
that we have compared to them.
And I don't think like it, let's say that I go through it later, that doesn't necessarily mean I was healthier. I think it might have more to do with how we get through it than when we get through it. I'm not an expert, I don't know that for sure, but that's going to be my guess. And then another thing to expect is for it to last like a year, maybe 2 years. Sally said that it was kind of a gradual introduction into menopause. Things started changing gradually. Then it kind of hit full force at one point, and then it was a gradual exit
leave
as well. So unfortunately, it's not like, oh, overnight, oh, I'm through menopause, yay!
Unfortunately.
So I think those are the things that you can think about that happen during menopause and what to expect. What to expect at the end? No more periods.
Yay!
Oh, wait.
Missed.
My elbow, right? Okay, so that's that. The last thing we're going to quickly go through are 10 tips that you guys can think about that'll help you get through menopause. And don't wait until it hits. You can start doing these things right now. Tip number 1. Oh, there's one more thing. One more wise tip. One more wise tip I want to talk about, and that's weight gain during menopause. There is literally no scientific proof that menopause causes weight gain. That's not really what it is. It can cause a shift in how your body weight is distributed. It can and does, actually, and there is scientific proof behind that. Those of you that were more apple-shaped will find yourself more pear-shaped. For me, I'll become likely a little bit more celery-shaped because the fat does tend to sit in the abdomen more. Scientifically proven. So if you're struggling right now with your waist not being as small as it used to be, it's just age. Just accept it and find some clothes that fit you differently and flatter your new body, okay? All right, so now we'll get to the 10 things.
10 tips.
Okay, 10 tips. Number 1, focus on your nutrition, which can include supplements, even things like oils and stuff like that. Remember, the third vlog in this series, we're going to talk specific to nutrition and menopause, but don't wait. Get your calories where they should be. Get your veggies in. Don't eat so much sodium, okay?
Yes.
Drink a lot of water.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll talk more about that later. Tip number 2.
Exercise. Get going. If you're not already going, get going, because it will help you in the long run.
Absolutely.
And exercise throughout that time period when you're in menopause also. It helps. It just kind of gives you a stronger outlook on the day. It's all in your mind. Not all in your mind, but obviously there's some
It helps you
stuff.
mentally.
It helps you mentally, just like it does pre-menopause. Helps us out a ton. So that'll be vlog 2. We'll get to more of that later.
Yep. Number 3, get a life. I know that sounds very direct, but you want to keep yourself busy. This is not so much to do with menopause, though it's going to help with that, but the age that you're at when you go through menopause is also an age where there tends to be a lot of other life changes going on. Your kids are going away, you're maybe switching jobs, your husband's thinking about retirement, stuff like that. So keep yourself busy, okay? That's really important. Tip number 4.
Stop unhealthy habits.
Like?
Oh gosh, smoking, drinking. Just be as healthy as you can.
Fast food, anything like that.
Yes.
Sleep habits, nail it, okay? Those are balloons popping behind us. I think there's a kids camp. Number 5.
Ignore society's perception.
Right. So there's this kind of perception that it's a negative thing to go through menopause, and we have to, and this is our next tip, but stay positive. You have to stay positive, and you have to kind of ignore society saying, oh, you're not going to be a woman anymore, or any. That's total.
Are you kidding me? I can't wait to not have a period.
I know.
I think that sounds fantastic.
It's a total crock, you guys, and only we can help change that. Okay. So number 6 is stay positive. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Number 7, dress in layers and sleep in layers if you can, if you don't sleep naked.
Yeah, because those hot flashes come out of nowhere, right?
So, I mean, start your day wearing a tank top. Add that layer of like a little sweater if you need to. And when that hot flash happens, you can tear those clothes off, and it'll help to deal with that a little bit better.
Absolutely. Sleep in a cool room is tip number 8. Sleep with your window open, have a fan on, and make sure that your husband is prepared at any moment for you to rip the covers off of both of you, because Sally said that happened to her all the time. She'd just be lying there and she'd be like, and whip the covers off of her.
Yes.
So, all right, next one, Beth?
Laugh often. I agree with that. Now, if you can start laughing as often as you can, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Especially in that time period, too. Things might hit you a little harder emotionally. Try to laugh through it. I mean, it's just so much easier when you have humor in your life.
And keep your sense of humor about the situation even when you can.
Yes.
I think that's really helpful, too.
Yes.
The last tip.
Educate yourself and your spouse. Sally said that her husband went out, unbeknownst to her, and got a book all about menopause and read up all about it. And I just thought that was so awesome of
She's
him
a rad
to do.
husband.
She does. She really does.
Yeah,
I've met
yeah.
him a couple times, and
Yeah.
he's wonderful. But at the same time, just like when you were maybe pregnant and having kids, you
Yeah.
had that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Right.
It's almost the same exact thing. Like,
Dude,
view
seriously,
menopause as a life change, just like having a child was.
Yeah.
Educate yourself and your husband as much as you possibly can.
And anyone
to
who's
know what to
around
expect.
you. If your kids are still living with you, you know, educate them as well.
Yes.
And maybe when you're not in an emotional time,
Yes.
you know, and before it happens, or
Yeah.
when you're just starting to come into it. So
I love that tip.
yeah, I think preparing for it's key. So, all right, you guys, we'll look for vlog number 2, where we talk more about exercise and menopause, and vlog number 3, where we talk about nutrition and menopause. And we hope that this helps you. We know a lot of you
Yes.
are looking for more information on this subject. For those body sculpting, fat torching workouts, make sure you check out Studio Sweat on demand, or come into Studio Sweat in San Diego.